did so many wrong things in my life, but now I'm in my right mind, right mind.
A check.
Hip checker with the mic stand.
Yes. Yes, he did. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Is that too loud? Am I peeking the mic?
No, you're good. The sad part is
Everyone's at a perfect level.
What?
Yeah, everyone's at a good level. Yeah, everybody's good.
Oh.
Did you grab the wrong one?
It's all right.
Yeah, no.
I'm like,
Did you grab? Yeah.
it tastes like a White Claw without the booze.
The worst kind. The absolute worst kind.
Like what's?
I mean, White Claws are trash.
I know, but there's
Booze
like,
or no booze, man.
I know, there's a purpose to it though. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, are we rolling?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I waste no time. As soon as everybody's in a chair,
I should know
it's content,
that.
baby.
I
It's
should-
content, baby.
Yeah, I just
I
get
should
it
know
content.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just get rolling. That's
All
just
right,
how
is
we
this
do
like
it.
covering my face? Whatever.
It covers your mouth.
You're like, which maybe you should do more.
No, we have to mute it then. That's where the mute button comes in.
That's true.
But no, we're good.
We just hard mute.
I'm like,
the
you
mic
could just
and no
mute
one
my
knows.
track. You could just bring the volume all the way down. That's fine.
Put yours down and turn it straight up.
It's like what we were trying to do with. Oh yeah, good call.
So this way it's
You
not
can.
blocking your face.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Same thing with you, like, put yours
Ah,
down.
oh, my little hands.
I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah. See,
No,
Matt
he has
knows.
his.
Matt knows. He's like, I do this for a living.
Am I
Come
doing
on
this
now.
wrong?
I feel so bad for the people that are gonna watch this. Like,
I'm so sorry. Can somebody help me? No, I need help.
Just
This is
Oh, thank you.
Kayla's new ASMR.
just straight static.
I was like, no, I actually need help. Thank you.
Turn that up.
Okay.
There you go.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
I wish I could. I wish I knew the words to that.
She's like, that's it. That's all I
That's all
got.
I know.
That's the song.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, copyright.
I mean, that's how. Yeah, right.
Oh, much better.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yours is still in your face, bro.
You gotta
In your
lower it, but I
I'm
feel
gonna
like.
keep it right here.
But I feel like if he lowers it, then it's gonna be in Kayla's face the whole time.
Oh, the arm, the end of the arm. Yeah.
What the my eye?
I see what you're saying.
Right here.
It's like I don't have insurance yet to pay for her injuries.
Yeah.
Getting clocked in the eye by the mic stand. Jay, do we have workers' comp yet? No, sorry. We're still bootleg. We're still good. Whatever.
I'm getting there. We'll make it happen. It's the one. It's
Yeah.
the one to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not.
You need something to go wrong.
I'm like, no,
You
to
do.
then
not
be
with
like,
me.
okay, well, you see why we need it?
Yeah, exactly. See, that is why rules were made, because something went wrong, so somebody made a rule to fix it so that that thing didn't happen again.
Exactly.
It's literally what it is, and I've heard some crazy
sorry,
rules.
Kayla.
but-
That's okay.
You're just the collateral.
Yo, you the designated fuck up. Yo, we can't insurance until someone gets fucked up. And
then it's
like,
me.
yo, I got you, dude.
Take a little bit of
That's
tea.
why I'm like, I know everybody in this room knows it would be me. I know that.
Broken nose,
I'm aware. I am aware. I'm pretty graceful.
Let's call a spade here. Sorry.
It's okay.
Welcome to the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast,
Yeah,
where we sit down
hi.
and make connections through conversations. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We are here at 41st Studios. This is a MOCG media production. My name is Jay Faith. In case you have been living under a rock and have not watched the podcast, this is your first time. What's up and welcome. Who else we got here with us?
My name is L.Y.F.E. We got Kayla, Schenk, and we.
My name is Matt Young. I am nightclub DJ for Greater Boston area and beyond. And super happy to be here with y'all today.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm so excited you're here. I haven't seen you in so long.
How's everybody doing? Everybody good? How's things? How's life? Let's start with life. Like L.I.F.E.
I'm like, such a loaded question.
It is though.
Just busy.
Busy?
So
Yeah.
busy.
You are booked in. By the way, good for you. You are booked and busy. I see you on
I'm
IG.
trying
Yeah.
to be. You know,
Good
'cause
for you, honey.
So last year specifically was just such a huge year for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like trying to just run with it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because what at the beginning of the year last year, I was booked I'd say I was lucky if I got like 6 gigs in a month at the beginning of like in January 2022. I was lucky if I had like 6 gigs a month, and then like fast forward to end of the year 2022 to December, it was like a slow month for me would be like 10 or 11 a month, and like averaging like anywhere between like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 sometimes.
Dang.
A month.
Wow,
So, like,
good for you. That makes
It's
me
like
so
four shows average a week.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, average
3 to 4 a week
Yeah.
if I can. But I mean, it's kind of crazy, just because like I think the whole like real reason it happened was because I don't know how, like, if you guys know, Kayla, I'm like relatively young, so I'm 23.
Yeah, you relatively young.
You're relatively young.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're
And
good.
so I've been working clubs and stuff since I was 16, but I was never like able to actually like go out and like make connections. It was just like through me like harassing bars and clubs and promoters,
Yeah.
being like, yo, let me in.
Right. How did that work though? Being under, I mean, at minimum under
Wild.
18.
Wild.
You know, because obviously I know there's some bars that are 18 plus whatever, and then
Right.
but I mean the majority of the ones are 21
Yeah, I mean,
plus.
it's weird because some places are super chill about it and some places are super uptight about it. So like
Sure.
some places I'd walk in and they'd be like, yeah, you look young, don't even tell me how old you are, what do you want to drink? And some places would be like, I don't work those places anymore. But like most places that I would play at would be like, okay, you're going to come in, you're going to do your set from, 10 p.m. to midnight, and then we're going to have security escort you to the manager's office where you'll get your pay, and then we escort you out of the venue. So it was like a thing where like literally I'm just strictly here to work and then I'm gone.
Right.
And I can't stick around.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then I turned 21 during the pandemic.
Oof.
So I was like, I can't,
You got like your freedom to be able to kind of do
Right.
whatever you wanted to do as a DJ as far as space and everything, and then
Exactly.
they're like, nope, sorry, gotta wait, hold on.
Yeah. And so at like this year was really the jump off year because I could finally be going out to these spots and like meeting these people in person, like making the actual face-to-face connection rather than being like, just like sending them a DM or something. Be
Yeah.
like, yo, like, let me play, please. Like,
Right, please check on my work.
please,
Yeah.
promise, I'm good.
Right.
So it's been a crazy fucking year, and especially like this past week with all the colleges and stuff getting out.
Oh yeah.
So I was talking with you a bit about this on the way in, but so this past week, like pretty much every college was getting out or like having their like graduation ceremonies and stuff. And so every bar and club was open every single day of the week, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like all the way through.
So they were just
this
waiting
past
for the
week.
grad parties. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, you're graduating on Monday? Cool. We got a bar for you.
So like down in the Seaport, the Graham was open on a Monday for the BU like send off party, and that's like unheard of.
Jeez.
Club open on a Monday in
Yeah.
Boston is like almost unheard of.
Oh, yeah, true.
For like an actual like 10 to 2 night as
Right.
well.
Oh, okay.
Not just like come in from like 7 p.m. to like 11 p.m. Like
Right.
no, it was a 10 to 2 night. So it was a crazy busy week. I was all over the place. I was up at UNH twice actually. I was
wow.
out in Worcester doing some stuff for the colleges out there, and then I was out here as well, or out in Boston. But yeah, I mean, crazy week, and I'm happy I get to actually lay down this
Right.
week in the middle of
There
the
you
week.
go. Yeah,
because
right.
normally the middle of the week's my weekend,
Right, makes sense. And
So,
then-
That's-
so what does like your typical week look like? Like on average, obviously I know it can
On
fluctuate.
average, I'm like, so Monday through Wednesday is a lot of just like being at home, getting errands done, like doing just like random adult shit.
Right.
And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, during the days, I'm like, prepping for a gig. So that, like looking online for music through all the record pools that I have that I'm subscribed to and stuff. Trying to find new music, new edits, new remixes, whatever's hot right now and stuff. And, doing all the research and shit too.
Yeah.
Is so important. And can I curse on this?
Yeah, you're
podcast?
good.
I feel
Oh, you're mindful. Thank you
it's
for
just
being mindful.
it's so in
Yeah.
my like natural vocabulary to
No, you're
just
good.
throw it in there, but So yeah, I'll just be looking for new music, researching new music, and then, you know, going to work, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. And then Sundays is my one real, like, oh, I get to, like, actually relax and hang out with friends kind of day. And then, like, Monday through Wednesday, it's back to, like, I'm doing adult shit. But it's my full-time job right now.
Nice. I was going to ask that, but I didn't want to, like, put your business out there. Like,
No,
is this, like, your livelihood?
No,
or
no, it's...
That's dope, though.
I was working a day job for a bit, and I'm not going to go into the details on that. I got fired.
You don't have to, honey.
Been there.
Just
Gotcha.
because it's a whole mess of a situation, and I'm not trying to clown on the place, but they're kind of clowns. But so I got fired from that place, and I was just like, I'm just gonna run with it for right now.
Oh, good.
Just because,
Good for you.
like, I need the downtime. You know, when I was working at that place, you know, I was working 50 hours a week, 6 days a week.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
dang.
So I was like, I'm, you know, just overworking myself just
How
because
did
I
you do that and DJ?
Barely.
Oh, because you're 23.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well-
because you're relatively young.
Relatively
Okay.
young, yeah, that's it. But yeah, I was working myself like fully into the ground, and to the point where I was averaging like 3 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was adapted to staying up late for the nightlife
Yep.
stuff, but I was also adapted to waking up early as hell for my, you know, 9 to 5. So I was like, you know, going to bed at like 3, 4 in the morning, waking up at like 7 in the morning every single day
Just
of the
to
week, just because
hit
that's how I was
the
adapted. Yeah.
That's so tough.
So I was losing so much sleep, and I was just like, wasn't happy with the job either.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I'm just gonna be by myself for a while and just enjoy life.
Right.
Right.
Good for you.
But I mean, it worked out in
Yes.
the end because it was
yeah.
way more beneficial.
Oh yeah.
And then now you're literally living what you want to do.
Yeah.
You
It's
know.
it's so much fun.
Nightlife is wild.
Oh yeah. You're telling me. Because I've seen it evolve and everything
I was just
too.
saying, no,
over the
actually,
years.
I'd like for you to tell me.
It's crazy. I mean, you see a lot of wild shit that you wouldn't see if you weren't in it. Like good wild and also like terrible wild.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know,
Right.
like I've, you know, I mean, just all the different people you can meet and stuff, but also just like you see people like at their like drunkest.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
when they're making their worst decisions, and sometimes those decisions go like a little way too far, and it's like I don't want to deal with this. Like I've, you know, like the amount of times that I've been working and I've left from a gig and immediately been like, oh, I'm in danger right now, just stepping out the front door. Or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, this looks like a situation I need to
Yeah.
avoid.
Just a couple of weeks ago, I was playing a gig at UConn at Ted's Bar down at U Connecticut, and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is gonna be safe. You know, it's just a bunch of like white
Right.
college kids. Like, what's gonna happen? And so I'm playing my set, and I'm in the middle of like a Latin mini set, and this dude just starts like booing and just like yelling at me, being like, play some American shit, like play some American music. And I'm like,
man.
I'm like, all right. And I'm half Puerto Rican, so I'm like taking it a little personal. And so,
Well, this person clearly doesn't know what music bangs in the club, so.
yeah.
Clearly.
And so I admit I made a bad decision. I kind of started clowning him on the microphone in front of the entire place. And dude starts threatening me and shit, like from like across the bar, like trying to make eye contact with me and just like threatening me.
My God.
And I had to be, and then like as the night was over, he was waiting for me in the parking lot. And then I just like waited inside until like they left.
So much work.
Yo.
Yeah.
So much work. That's annoying.
Yep. I've walked into like a crime scene on several occasions leaving work. Where like I'll like walk out, you know, because you know it takes time for me to like break down equipment,
Oh, of course.
and then
Yeah.
like
Of course.
I'm just like chatting with bartenders, managers, whatever. And there was one time where I walked out, and there was this whole like commotion going on and whatever. And you know, because it's like 20 minutes after the club closed, so I'm like, why is there this whole thing going on? And it was like, oh, someone just got stabbed, like
What?
right there. And you look down the block and you can see like the blood on the sidewalk and everything. It's like you see like the lows of like people when doing this job. But I mean, it's so much fun. Like there's the cons don't anywhere near outweigh the pros to it, just because of how much fun it is.
Yeah,
you know. And I was never like a big like party guy either. You know, like growing up, like I wasn't going to like parties in high school. You know, like I'd go to like school dances and whatever.
Yeah,
but you know, I wasn't you know the kind of guy who was like, oh, it's the weekend, like I'm gonna go get like wasted at some like house party in the middle of the suburbs or some shit like that. Like
I was.
I know.
she's like, that was.
But so I was never that kid. I literally just love music. You know.
Yeah. I feel like that's a common thing too. I feel like I've heard that from like a lot of DJs. Like they aren't like the type of person that typically like will just constantly go out. It's just like I love spinning music and just being out there and just like showing off and doing.
100%. I mean, and to add on to that, like so many DJs are introverts too. Like if you talk to a lot of DJs are actually like very introverted, but like I mean we have to be extroverted for our job.
Yeah.
You know? So like introverted extroverts. But it's crazy. I mean, if you talk to like most DJs will tell you that like their ideal like weekend if they had a night off is like, oh, I'm just sitting at home alone like eating pizza, you know, watching movies.
Dude,
or
I
whatever.
feel like I relate to that so hard because I'm also an introverted extrovert.
Same.
So I definitely like need that time by myself because like social interaction just drains me. Like that never recharges my battery.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of the people where it does.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what that's
Yeah. I'm like it gets to a point where it's just been too much. For, you know, like because how many people can I meet in 7 years of working in bars, clubs, concerts, whatever? It's just like it becomes way too much at some point where I'm just like, all right, I've had enough social for the next 10 years. Like I'm just gonna.
I know it's got to be a lot, and like I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much goes into being a DJ because you have to do so much. Like I imagine like your own marketing, like you said, your own research, getting and like mixing, doing all of that, and then booking. I'm sure you probably have to book your own gigs and like take care of all of that.
Yep.
So it's like you're your own manager, creative director,
social media manager, booking agent,
Promoter.
Yeah.
Like I
both.
don't think people realize how much goes into
it really is
DJ.
like it fully is a business. Like, and I sometimes get like a lot of crap from my friends who are like, oh, well, like you just get to have like an easy fun job, and I'm like,
who thinks that?
Yeah, no.
But, well, like people who like obviously my close friends, they all know like how much work I put into it. But like, you know, like acquaintances or like just like casual friends who like I'll meet like through another friend or something like that. They're like, oh, you just have like such a fun job, you know, like you just get to go party like on the weekends and stuff. And I'm like, no, because I have to fully build a brand and I have to fully like manage myself, you know. It's there's so much more layers that go into it. And like expanding on that, like I've also like had people in sort of like the same kind of vein be like, oh, like you only get, like you complain about work, but like you only, you know, work like 3 days a week and like maybe like 12 hours a week. And I'm like, sure, like I do work like, you know, like 12 hours a week or whatever, but it's like I've spent 7 years building my brand to the point where I'm at the point that I can just do that and just enjoy myself.
But also, how many hours of prep goes
That's what I was
into
gonna say.
that?
That's what I was gonna say.
You have to prep all of that. Like, there is so much behind the scenes work that has to go down before you get up in that DJ booth. Like,
it's nasty.
There's a lot of technical stuff that goes into it. So it's not just press and play. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
oh my God, the setup alone, I'm like, God bless you.
People think it's just pressing play and just
DJ press play.
It's
like,
so tough because I mean, unfortunately, there are like a significant amount of guys in the scene who do that. Where literally they'll just like, I've been at a club in Boston that I'm not going to name.
It shall remain nameless.
And they brought in like this headlining DJ, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna like this guy. Like I have the night off. I might as well just like go out because I have someone who'll like guest list me and get me in for free. You know, I'll just head out because what else am I gonna do? And I go, and I'm like, man, I'm not really into this. And so I left and ended up just going to some bar. Later, I had another friend of mine who had stayed, and he was up on like the balcony in this venue, and he's looking down at the DJ while he's playing and realizing that he has his laptop next to him where he's running his DJ software, and one side is just completely empty. Like one side, like, because on the software you have like the two decks that are there. Yeah. One deck is just completely off on the software, and it's just one rolling.
That's
wild.
He
had an hour-long mix going that he had just like pre-made, and he like they paid him crazy amount of money to be there as a headlining DJ, and he just walked in and pressed play and just like danced around for an hour.
Dude.
No. So wow, whatever.
That must be frustrating too. Not to cut you off, but like that must be frustrating too as like a DJ that puts in all that effort to not only just find the songs, which I can't even imagine because of how ever changing the music industry is as far as songs, but to put it in a creative way, to layer it, structure it the way that you do and everything, and then somebody's just like,
I'm good.
Yeah.
Right.
But
exactly.
That's okay. I have a question because I had a recent experience where I was like,
I love questions.
How like do DJs like do you pick your sets? I imagine that you pick it based on the demographics of like the club or like whatever venue you're playing. Okay, because I had like a recent experience. I went to go see Nelly. Spoiler alert: I didn't even see Nelly at a nightclub in Encore, and like the DJs. I'm not saying anything against the DJs. Like the DJs were solid. The transitions were great. Like they did a great job. They did what they were supposed to do, but it was just not like my cup of tea, like music. Yeah. So in my mind, I'm standing there looking around and I'm like, how do you pick your sets? Like this is, to me, it's awful, but I get that obviously I'm one person. The rest of the club is like bumping, jumping. I'm just not into like the techno, like that's not my stuff. Yeah. Not one Latino song played and my heart broke. Yeah. That man that was actually at UConn would have been very happy.
Would have been very happy there.
Whoever that man is, go to Memoir and Encore. You will be so happy. But like, so how do you pick your sets? Or like what you're going to do?
It all depends. So like first, like one of the first things I do is I don't like to play at a spot if I haven't at least been there as a patron first.
Okay.
So I always try to, if I'm like trying to get into a new spot, I always try and go there like as a patron. Okay. So then I can see, like, oh, on a Friday night, like this is what they're doing, or, on the Saturday night, this is what they're doing here. Or if I, don't have that luxury of like, so like say I'm booking something in Providence, I don't really have the time sometimes to take an hour and a half drive just to check out this spot before I, end up playing there. So, I have a very solid network of other DJs in the city and in the state and surrounding area where, like, I can just talk to them and be like, so, like, just tell me, like, in detail, like, what is the vibe of this spot, whatever it is. And so, then that way I can know before I walk in to play a venue, either because I've been there or because I've talked to, some guy I trust. I know that if I'm walking in, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm mostly playing like top 40, like throwbacks, like, typical bar hits at this place. Or like, oh, okay, here I'm playing like mostly hip hop and Latino, some like Afro beats and stuff like that. So it really just all circles back to research again, where it's just like I have to be putting in that work on my own. And then, once I get comfortable with the spot, obviously I get into like a sort of a groove with it, where then I know, like, before I even walk in the door, like I already know what, half the songs I want to play on that night. But for the most part, so, I mean, like the way I organize my music is like I will organize it by genre. Okay. And then I just walk in, and so I'm like, okay, I have like my hip hop crate, I have, my top 40 crate, Latin, Afro, etc. And I'll just walk in and I'll just be like, all right, let's figure it out. And you just kind of
I love that.
go off rip for, the next 4 hours. Just sort of like traveling vibes. And like, I have my own sort of, like mini routines that I'll do where like I know if I play this song, then I immediately know what like the next 4 songs following it are going to be, because I know that I have like a solid transition from this to this to this to this to this. But I mean, it's a bunch of like, what am I playing in between, or like what routine goes into what other routine kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean, it again, it's just all about knowing that venue before you even step foot on the stage, step foot in the booth.
That's
Makes
really
sense.
good advice too for
Yeah.
people.
I know. I was like thinking of that for like, for when like we do shows, like if it's possible, for like new venues and stuff, like going to just check it out and, just kind of see what the vibe is, like see what kind of people are showing up, so you can kind of tailor your set. We have like such an advanced catalog at this point where, we can kind of maneuver different things. So if it's one of those places where it's like, for example, like High Sky, it's one of those faster kind of clubs that we need, or if it's like a more of a, generic like hip hop, or if it's like R&B kind of night, like, you can kind of tailor it to kind of the regular crowd that shows up. Kind of makes sense. Yeah.
And honestly, I honestly enjoy the challenge of some spots, because some spots are different every single weekend.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
makes sense.
but I like that. I
Yeah.
like walking and being like, I have no idea what I'm doing tonight, and I have to figure it out within the first half hour what every single person here likes, and then I have to run with it. And then like, maybe you get like 2 hours into a night, and it's like you get, the next crowd that comes in, and it's like, okay, well now the demographic has shifted. So now they're going to want different stuff. And so you have to just be able to like adapt on the fly. So like,
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I heard a really good analogy recently of someone said that like people look at DJing as like this super easy thing where it's like, oh, you hit play and like blah, 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 blah. And like, while on like a surface level, like sure, if I have like a basic music knowledge and I sat down and was like taught it, I could DJ a passable set, within probably like an hour or two, if I had like a good teacher. But I mean, if like for the people who are like running clubs and running bars and stuff, like if you're DJing in those spots, it's like playing Tetris on level 10 for 4 hours straight.
I imagine.
And
Just trying to make something
It's
fit.
so much, because if I'm playing a song, I'm thinking, okay, well, what am I playing 6 songs from now if I'm on this song? Because like you're always, it's like chess where you have to be thinking moves and moves ahead, because you have to be able to dictate where that flow is going to go.
It's almost literally like a freestyle. Like you're thinking like four bars ahead,
Exactly.
making sure everything matches up with what you just said 2 bars before and everything else. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you only work 3 days out of the week, so don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah.
You're fine.
It
You
doesn't
just press
matter.
play. It's not,
It's just press
Now,
play.
like, do you ever run into a time where like you walk into a place and you think you know what you're gonna play, but then like you have to like switch it up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say all the time, but like there's a decent amount. There's this one bar that I love playing at in Boston called Bodega Canal. This place is so much fun, just because the vibe changes all the time. Where like it stays like around a typical general like top 40 hip hop Latin kind of vibe there, but you really never know walking in there like what you're getting.
Yeah.
And so like I'll walk in and I'll be like looking around and I'll be like, okay, this kind of looks like a bunch of like poppy kind of college girls, so like I'll probably just end up playing a bunch of like top 40 type stuff, like a bunch of like pop music, and then I'm like not really getting a reaction to it. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, well, I'm just going to kind of like switch into some Latin music to then like segue into hip hop or vice versa or whatever. And then say they like start going crazy to Latin music. And I'm like, okay, well, I completely like misjudged this crowd. And now I know exactly what I'm doing for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
So
it's safe to say that you gotta have like weapon upon weapon upon weapon.
Yes.
I'm sure you have like thousands of songs in your catalog.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
you just gotta like sift through and see what sticks.
yeah, it's so much fun though. Like, I mean, and recently I've been getting into like a bunch of like new genres as well, like, and getting comfortable with mixing them and stuff, just because Boston is such a diverse city.
It's
So
insane.
crazy diverse. There's so many different cultures. Like, and and also just the way that the music industry is evolving right now, where like, you know, Bad Bunny is like the biggest fucking artist in the world.
Yeah.
And he barely speaks English in any of his songs. And he's still one of the biggest artists in the world, like in America.
Yeah,
one of the biggest
People
artists.
are still bumping it. They have no idea what he's saying, but
Exactly.
they're just loving it.
So we have Kayla, prime example. And so stuff like that, where, you know, like these genres are slowly starting to like come to the surface of as like, and people are realizing like, oh, I can, you know, I can still dance to this just because, you know, it's not me singing the lyrics to Mr.
Bro, good
Brightside
music
at the
is
top of my
good
lungs.
music, baby.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what it
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
Universal.
Right.
Absolutely. And like there's the whole thing now with like Burna Boy and Rema, you know, sort of bringing like Afrobeat, summer
I
piano, like dance hall
Love
all the
that
way up.
for the music journey.
It's crazy.
Love that.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, Boston's like kind of behind.
Really?
A lot of places.
I'm shocked.
Boston. So specifically when it comes to the East Coast, Boston's typically like the last to get new music. So like I'll be you know, start playing something that like I know is getting popular in New York, or like I know is getting popular in Philly, and I'll play it here and get like zero reaction, but then like a month and a half down the line,
Once it finally
I'm
goes
getting
over.
constant requests for it because everyone is now up on the song.
Yeah.
When like I was
They're
like,
like, oh,
I was playing this a month ago, but like
Like, what is that? You know?
happens all the time. Yeah.
I feel like it takes time to get like across the country because obviously a lot of those artists are like West Coast based, and
Yeah.
you know they funnel it through that whole radio system over there, and then finally, you know, stations start picking it up as it comes across, and then
Yeah.
finally it hits, you know, mass and everything, and then they're like, oh, by the way,
Yeah. This has been popular for 2 months now.
yeah, you're like, I'm trying to be on the wave already,
And then
they're
everyone's
just
like, wait.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, and also like you mentioned West Coast, and West Coast is like this. So East Coast versus West Coast in terms of styles of DJing, crazy different.
Oh, I can
like,
imagine.
Talk to me.
So, like,
I'm
Intrigued.
interested.
so like on the West Coast, if you're playing at a club, you're playing a song for probably like 2.5 to 3 minutes of the song, you know. But if I'm here, like, or if I'm playing here or like Philly or New York, I'm probably playing like, you know, anywhere between like 30 and 90 seconds of a song, and then I'm out. Like
What
I
is
see
so
that.
much,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
much
I
faster
see that.
on
Yeah.
the East Coast, and I don't have a good explanation for why.
That's an interesting observation. Well, the East Coast is faster paced in general. We live faster paced lives. We're faster paced people.
Yeah,
like once you
that's
start
true.
traveling out, you're like, I remember I went to Colorado and I was like, what is wrong with everybody? And then I was like, oh, it's me. I was like,
Yeah.
I am at like mass whole pace. So
It's crazy.
That's interesting that it reflects in the DJing.
Yeah, and you were saying like the visiting other places like Colorado and stuff, and being like, what is going on? Because I've been doing like a decent amount of traveling like in the past couple of years for DJing, and I run into the same thing where I'm like,
what is
going
happening?
on?
You're like, oh wait, it's me.
Yeah. Like I went out to eat. I've been to Florida, I've been to Texas, and like I've been out, obviously out to eat in both locations. And I think like the further you go south and then the further you go west, like we were sitting there, like the waitress shows up, like, you know, gets the water and stuff. And then like, you know, you're waiting, you know, and then you paced out, and then, you know, she comes, asks for your food. And then your food takes time, like way longer than here,
Yeah.
where it's like, you know, your food's out in like 10 minutes. Like it was like 20 minutes, and then we ate, and then she gave us like an extra like 20 minutes to just like chill and relax.
I'd
And
be
I
like,
was like,
I'd be like, speed it up.
I was like, normally our check is, like normally the check is already there, like we're
Right,
signing it, we're out. Like
they bring the check with your food.
I know, seriously, and especially like for a server, it's like, don't you want to turn this table?
Right?
Like, what's
Yeah.
happening?
But at the same time, like I kind of enjoyed it because I was
That's
like, oh,
true.
like I can actually slow down for a
Right.
second, like,
Yeah.
and it was a different perspective. And I was like, almost like you said, like I feel like I'm moving too fast.
It does force you to slow down, and it is good because it's like almost this like you stop and smell the roses type of deal.
Yeah, exactly.
You do kind of fall out of that New England pace for a little bit, but then
Yeah.
once you get back home, you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's honestly one of my favorite parts about traveling is like that you just get to experience, you know, how different the culture is literally
Right.
just within the same country.
Right.
Yeah.
I love
Which
that.
is one of the craziest things about the U.S. is just how vast the culture is
Mm-hmm.
from, you know, literally just crossing state borders. The culture can change completely. So I've been to 39 states. I used to live in an RV for 4 months. And like me and a couple of buddies, like in the middle of the pandemic, we were just like,
What else are you gonna
what
do?
are we gonna do? So we pulled all our money, bought an RV trailer, bought a Chevy Suburban to tow it, and we just left for 4 months and just did the entire country. And it's so crazy, just seeing how if I go from Florida to Georgia, they're touching. Those states are touching, but the cultures are completely different between those two states.
Very different. Yeah.
And the same thing from going from Louisiana to Texas. So crazy different,
Yeah.
And also just this country's gorgeous, dude. You don't
Yeah.
you don't really see it until you actually go out there and experience it in person. Cause you see pictures of the mountains and you
Does
see
not
pictures
do
of
it
the desert stuff. You go there, it's so crazy different. And when I was living in that RV, it was entirely a wholly different experience just because 1 week I would be in the middle of the desert in the middle of Texas. Next week, literally 7 days later, I'm at the top of the Rockies.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I loved it. It was
That's
so
dope.
crazy just getting to see everything.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the time too, and
Exactly.
why not take advantage
Exactly.
of it? What else are you really
I
gonna
was
do?
on, the pandemic unemployment stuff where, they were giving out just $600 to $800 a week.
Right.
So it was I might as well.
Yeah. You don't have rent to pay,
Exactly.
because you're living in the RV.
Yeah.
I might be a little jealous of your journey.
So you just pull it into gas and food,
Exactly.
basically, essentially.
Yeah.
Bomb.
Trying to find places to park that thing was kind of a pain in the ass, though.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Because a lot of the times you have to stay at trailer parks, but sometimes you can stay at a Walmart parking lot or something.
Right.
We actually had the RV towed
No way.
at one point. Yeah,
That's impressive, though.
I know.
That takes a lot. If I was a tow driver or even a cop, I'd be like, nah, forget it.
It was a
not even
it was a
worth
30-foot trailer.
Huh?
30-foot trailer.
Yeah, I'd be like, nah, not worth my time.
Right.
I'd be like, I'm all
but
set.
no, we were in Houston, Texas. I hate Houston, Texas, for this reason. And we're calling around. We couldn't find any RV parks with availability. And we find this Walmart that's just outside of Houston. And we call them up and we're like, hey, we have an RV. Will we be able to park in your lot overnight? And then we'll be gone tomorrow morning. Because, most Walmarts, you can car camp at most Walmarts. And they're 90% of them are just super chill about it. And they'll be like, oh yeah, just, let us know how long you're going to be here, only stay a day or two and then get out of here.
Yeah.
So we called Walmart and talked to a manager and they were like, yeah, go for it. You're welcome to stay overnight in the parking lot. And we're like, okay. And so parked the RV, set it up and everything, put the legs down on it and whatever. We're like, okay, we're starving because we've been driving since New Orleans. And
Fair enough.
we just want to get something to eat. And so we go out into Houston to get some dinner in Houston, and come back 2.5, 3 hours later, gone. Whole thing was gone.
Oh my God.
Dang.
My heart would have
See, that's even
dropped.
more impressive because you had the legs down too. They had to probably pick those things up.
They had to- they had to
there was a process to that.
Crank them
not
up,
just-
crank the legs up, and then hitch it up,
That's wild.
and then just get out of there. And I was like, all right, more props to you guys, but also fuck you guys,
Yeah,
because
that's
that sucks.
wild.
That's crazy.
Because by the time we got back, because we were out for dinner, so by
Yeah.
the time we get back, it's 9:30 p.m. And
Yeah.
we're like, okay. So we go into the Walmart. We're like, hey, can we speak to a manager? Oh, there's no managers here right now. They all went home for the day.
Of course.
Awesome.
Should be a night manager, but
Call the
whatever.
You're right. But managed to somehow get the tow company's information from one of the employees at guest services. Call the tow company, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're closed for the night, but you can come grab it tomorrow."
Oh yeah, that does us a whole lot of good.
We're like, okay,
Thanks.
well, that's kind of our house. So it's kind of where we're living right now. So I'm not sure what you want us to do about that. So we had to get a hotel for the night and went in the next day, paid the money to get it back. My TV was shattered because when we like set up the RV, I'm setting my stuff up. And then when we go to move, I'd put all my stuff away so that it wouldn't break and fall over. But of course, like when they towed it, I had my TV set up, I had my bed set up and everything, and they started towing it, and the TV just went right off the table, shattered on the floor. So
They're like, screw your stuff inside.
I bought it specifically for the trip too, and it was like halfway through, and we just lost it. I was
People
like,
suck.
perfect,
Wow.
incredible. But
Yeah.
fuck Houston. Do not like Houston.
It's like we'll stay open to tow your vehicle and put all this prep work into towing it, but if you want to pick it up, you'll have to grab it.
You have to wait till
we're
tomorrow.
closed.
And then they charge.
I feel like that's a lie.
And then they charge us the 24-hour rate because they held it overnight.
Oh, that's exactly why they were probably just sitting in the office. Just
I know
going,
they're just.
When's the next call?
We're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Not a
happens.
fan.
Yeah, tonight we pick up a Brinks truck. Like, it's like, what's next? Well, the fire truck. I don't know. Trying to ante up what.
Fire truck was parked in the fire lane. Gotta get rid of it.
A question that I had. So you were kind of in the DJ scene before COVID, correct?
Yes.
And then obviously after. So like, do you feel like there's been like a change as far as atmosphere and the vibe? Obviously pre-pandemic, and then now coming out of, being out of it.
Massive change.
How so?
Because the pandemic basically, so pre-pandemic, like people were a lot more tolerable. Like, you wouldn't nearly get as many requests or like that in a club, and like I could actually like sometimes break records, where like I'd play something where it was like this new record that had just come out, and like barely anyone had probably heard it at that point. But then you could still get people vibing to it and whatever.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic happens, and then like everyone just gets so used to this like instant gratification of like, I'm on my phone all the time, I'm on my computer all the time, I'm always playing video games, whatever it is.
I see that a lot.
Everyone got so used to the instant gratification, and especially with like TikTok too. Like TikTok has like fully changed the music industry, and it blew up during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And that was also a whole thing of like instant gratification of just like, oh, I can just like swipe, and I
Entertainment
feel like
in
I'm
palm of your
doing
hand.
stuff like when I'm just sitting in my house doing nothing all day. So TikTok and like the whole instant gratification thing of the pandemic, this was like totally shifted the vibe, because now it's like, now I am mixing even faster than I was before.
Right.
So like, where pre-pandemic, I still was mixing, quickly compared to like West Coast DJing.
Yeah.
But now, if I'm on a night and it's like, I'd say like on an average, like towards even the lower end, I'll play 400 songs in a 4-hour set.
Wow.
And that's, and beyond, depending on the night.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're just going, switching it up all the time. And because of the whole thing with TikTok, where TikTok is like all the short clips and every. And
I was like, are you
Because they
just
only like that part.
and
They only like that part. That's
the
all.
attention span is like this,
like
now.
reels?
And exactly, yeah. And because like songs are now being formatted for TikTok, where like I'm not just like spewing this out my ass. Like it's a legitimate thing now.
No,
where-
I think we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Artists are going out there like Lil Uzi Vert, just literally creating songs for TikTok
yeah.
so that it'll just blow.
Labels are like telling their artists like, make your song for TikTok.
Yeah.
Like make it marketable. Like we don't care about like the rest of like the, minute and a half, 2 minutes of the song. Just like make the chorus like danceable.
Yeah,
Or
because
like
the
make
song
it,
was like 2
whatever.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The song was like 2 minutes, like and that was it. There was no
Exactly.
lyrics. It was
Right.
just noise, and I was
Yep.
like, "What the hell?" But it's like making money.
But it
'cause
bangs. It
it's
bangs in clubs.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest club hits right now.
Yeah. So
So I mean, yeah, the attention span is just like this. So like you got to be like quick on top of it, and also like the requests are so bad now.
Because people are extra needy now. They want
Yeah,
what
because
they
they're so
want
used
now.
to getting exactly what they want, like at the click of a button. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I need to get my food, boop, delivered to my door. Oh, like I'm bored in quarantine, like just swipe, whatever. You know, everything is right at their fingertips. So now it's like, and also you have this whole like crowd of people who have never experienced a club before. Like you have like all the people who were 19, 20, like about to turn 21 when the pandemic
Like
hit.
you.
Yeah. They had like 2 whole years of like, oh, we can't go out anywhere. And now they're like, oh, now we can go out. So you have this whole new crowd of people pushing in. And it's all the people who were using TikTok like the most.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
like super on top of that like instant gratification crowd. And so they're like so bad with the requests.
I believe
Like,
it.
I don't know like how often you guys go out or anything, but like I don't know if you're familiar with like the phone sign situation with requests where so people will like type it out like
Stop
on like
it.
Snapchat or like
No
type it out
way.
on. There's literally an app for this the app is called Big, where you like type it out and then you rotate your phone to the side and it's like the text is blown up like to cover the whole screen. And they will literally like no one even comes up to request songs anymore.
Just in
Like-
the crowd, just
like
Are
I'd say
you
like
joking?
when I'm DJing, I'd say
I've never seen that.
maybe 20% of the time people are actually coming up to me to request a song, and the other 80% they're just holding up their phone from wherever they are in the crowd to request a song. The worst is when I have people come up to me and then just stick it in my face.
I'd slap
Like
the phone
I'm
out
like,
of
you
your
are
hand.
within talking distance of me. You can treat me like a person by speaking to
I
me.
am a human, not just
Yeah.
robot behind the.
So I've ended up like just like counteracting it, where like in multiple different ways, where like someone will hold up their phone and like requesting Bad Bunny or whatever, and I'll just hold up my phone back and it says I am not Spotify, or like I'll get
Nice.
on the mic and I'll be like,
That's awesome.
I'll get on the mic and I'll be like, you know, next time you put a phone up, make sure $20 bill's in the other hand, and the phone stopped going up.
I'm obsessed
There
with
you
you.
go.
So like
I'm
That's awesome.
obsessed with you.
it's like
Got to get people back in.
Yeah.
absolutely, it's like just you're here enjoying yourself.
Well, people don't know how to
And
act though.
it-
Like they don't know like the social norms, like you said, because they've
Exactly.
never been. So it's their first time. So it's like,
Yeah, and also it's like sometimes the requests are so dumb because it's like
Tell me what
you're
your
requesting that I
idea-
play Bad Bunny. They're like, oh no, I wasn't planning on playing the biggest artist in the world right now.
Yeah,
at
all right, I got you. Yeah,
at this
yeah.
club
That
night.
makes-
so
yeah.
like, thank you for the request.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play the most
Oh,
popular.
you wanted me to
songs
play
ever.
Drake tonight at this hip hop night? I wasn't planning on it, but thanks for the recommendation.
I think I'll find a way to squeeze it in somewhere. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, they don't realize that you're there to work too. You know, like
That's
you,
such a huge
you
thing.
have a job. It's like we were talking with Crispy, who's off camera. We were talking with him earlier about how he goes to shows and sometimes like people will come up and say what's up or whatever, and like obviously he'll say what's up, but then he's like right back to work. It's
Yep.
like because I got a job to do. Like I can't
Exactly.
you again, you've spent all this time, you're not just your 3 days of DJing, you've spent a lot of time to put these sets
Yeah.
together to make sure that you fit these people that are coming up to you holding a sign.
Exactly.
You're like, do you understand that I've worked to make sure that this fits what you want?
Yes.
Like it's already in here. Like
That's
just relax, be
also
patient.
such a huge thing is like people don't realize it's a job. People are like, oh, you're up there, you're having fun, and I'm like, yes, I'm having fun, but it is my job.
Yeah.
So like I have friends all the time messaging me like, oh, let's hang out this weekend. I'm like, I can't, I'm working every weekend. You know this. And they're like, oh, but can't you take a night off? And I'm like, it's not like I can call in sick and they have like,
You got sick
5
leave.
guys on backup because everyone else is already booked as well. Like, and it is my job.
And that's bad business if you do that for you.
Yeah. It's like so many of my friends want to hang out with me more, but they can't. And obviously I want to hang out with my friends more, but like their work week is my weekend and vice versa.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it becomes this whole tough thing of like work friend balance where like the more I grow successful in terms of like getting more and more gigs, the more I sort of like alienate myself from like my closer like childhood friends and stuff from like high school, middle school, elementary, whatever. Just because like, you know, they're going out on the weekends, but I'm like, I'm working on the weekends. Like, we can find a compromise here, but like, if you're just gonna tell me like, oh, you know, I can't hang out during the week because I'm tired when I get home from work, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, I have to work on the weekends, so like, there's got to be something there, you know, or like I can give you some time during the day on the weekend. Oh, but I want to sleep in on the weekend. I'm like,
how about come to my spot and support me? How about that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's another big
come
one.
hang out
just
with
like
me.
us, come to my show, support me. You know what I mean?
But then it becomes a whole thing where it's like, okay, well, now I only see my friends when I'm working. And like now we can't like actually hang out because I am still working. I've had friends who've come to gigs get like come up to me like as the night's over being like, hey, are you like upset with me? And I'm like, what? No, like why would I be upset with you? And they're like, you were like barely talking to me tonight. I'm like,
You're just talking about that.
I am working.
That's so funny.
Here, leave me alone.
Right. It's like, hi, hello, thank you for coming.
Oh
I
my
love
God.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of my face, please.
Like I'm doing something.
Yeah. It's not out of disrespect. It's just like if any other job that anybody else has in the world,
Right.
If your friends are coming up to you and talking to you, your boss is going to be like,
What's going on?
you're on the clock, buddy.
Right. Like I'm not walking up to you like working as a cashier at TJ Maxx and like standing next to you for your entire shift.
Yeah.
And you go, all right, I have to work. And I'm like, you don't want me standing next to you while you're like working the cash register?
Yeah.
I'm like, are you upset with me? Like,
People don't understand.
Yeah.
I
It's
feel
my
like
job.
people that just like aren't creatives or like not in the industry or that world, like they just don't understand.
I mean, I fully understand like their viewpoint of like it's so hard to fathom that like because for 99% of the population, like going out to a nightclub is like, oh, we're gonna get drunk, we're gonna dance all night and whatever, yada yada yada, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I dance all night and like sometimes I get drunk at work, but it's still my job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Where like you're there to have fun on your weekend. I am here during my work week.
Right.
So
It's like I feel like people can make a balance too, like you said with like the friend relationship. Like you could like grab an early dinner or something, like meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't always have
I
to
always
be
offer that type of stuff
like
too,
a party or something. It doesn't always have to be those things. Like some of my favorite moments are just like chilling, having a barbecue. Like it doesn't have to be like
too.
we just went to this like
Right.
big huge extravaganza, whatever type it is, of theme park, whatever. Like dude, like just come chill and just have some conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Like those are the moments.
Like-
I mean, at least for me, I'll speak for myself.
we'll
Those
just-
are the moments
same.
for me.
We'll just like hang out on my porch or hang out in my backyard.
Yeah.
Like just talk.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, it's complicated.
Yeah.
You mentioned relationships too, and like that's a whole different.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing with nightlife.
Yeah.
Specifically with nightlife, because there's such the whole stigma of like,
Right.
oh, like guys who like work in nightlife, or like guys and girls who work in nightlife, they're just like, sleeping with like everyone and like they can like get their hands on yada yada and whatever.
People knocking at your door all the time.
Right.
You
Like
know,
like that's like such the whole like stigma about it, and like for some people could not be further from the truth. For some people it's definitely true, but for like a significant amount of people could not be further from the truth.
Right.
Like I've been on dates where girls have walked out mid-date when I told them I was a nightlife DJ.
oh, because
like-
they just automatically assume that
Yeah.
you were just messing around with everybody.
Stood up
in the
mid-date
world.
and left.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's so tough sometimes, but I mean, shit happens.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
I give props
I'm not
to the
giving
people
up my
that have
job
time
for anyone,
for it.
I love my job. I built this, like I love
Right.
my job, so I'm not giving it up for anyone. So like if I can't find someone who accepts it,
Yeah, that's
Fucking-
not depressing for you then.
Exactly. Like I'm just being me,
Yeah. If they're gonna make you stop or, not do it as much, then it's like, do you really understand what I'm trying to
Right.
do,
Right.
and that I'm actually living the thing that I want to do
Exactly.
at 23? Like that's
Exactly.
at a very young age.
Relatively.
Excuse me, relatively young age. Like that's that's great to hear, but like again, for a lot of people, like you don't hear that from people at like 23 that are living
Right.
exactly what they like to do. So it's like, why would you want to change that?
Yeah.
And we've said it before, like, with music, I'll stop when it stops being fun.
Exactly.
But until then, like, let's keep rocking, let's keep making music, let's keep just enjoying it.
I'm 7 years in, I'm still having the time of my life doing it, and only, going up, hopefully.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, you've been getting busier and busier, so
Going to be getting even busier.
Nice.
In this coming fall as well.
Good.
I unfortunately was told I can't talk about it on the podcast.
No, you're good.
Then no,
You're good.
don't.
Understood. Totally understood.
But
totally understand.
I have some very big plans for the fall.
Nice.
I'm so happy
hopefully.
for you. That makes me
And
so happy.
hoping they all come together.
Good.
But part of like my big plans that I can't talk about, but I'm going to segue into. So I work for a company, a lifestyle brand, based in Boston called Slacker University, and
That's the sticker on my phone.
that is the sticker on your phone. And basically, Slacker University is like, it's a college lifestyle brand, sort of similar to like what Barstool was when they first started.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But we do a heavy focus on nightlife. So 18 plus college parties where there's no liquor served. But I mean, and we just are picking up aggregate schools like left and right all over the country, kind of thing. And I've been with this company like legit since day one, since before the company was even called Slacker. I've been with this company, and so it's been so cool being a part of it, just seeing it grow from like, we're just throwing a show a month at like the Middle East in Cambridge, to now being like we throw like weekly nights, like 18 plus nights at like one of the biggest clubs in Boston.
Don't you guys like go out of state too? I feel like I remember you during Good Grief, like when we were exchanging stories. Did you go to like Colorado or something with them? Okay, that's what I thought.
So because of like the stuff that I've done with Slacker, I've been able to play here, Colorado, and specifically Boulder.
Big college place.
Yeah, I've played down in Texas at Texas A&M.
That's so cool.
Played in Philly, played in Miami. That Miami was so much fun to play in.
Can only
That was
Must be
great.
wild.
I can only imagine.
Is that your favorite place? What's your favorite place to spin it?
Good question.
Ooh, it like in the whole country or
Your
in
favorite
here?
state? Let's say state.
Favorite state? I mean, probably here, just because I have the most experience.
Okay,
with
besides
it.
here.
Besides here, Miami.
pick a number two.
Miami easily, like Florida.
Okay.
So much fun. Oh my god, like that was such a weekend. I was there for, we got in on Thursday, and I did a show Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and a show Sunday, and then we were out on Monday.
Good for you.
Like it was wild.
That must have been wild.
It was crazy. I got to open for this like big name EDM act named Borges. Got to open up for him, which was super cool. Got to open up for a couple guys, just through DJing, specifically through Slacker actually. So I've opened up for Borges. I've opened up for like a lesser known like EDM guy. His name's Autograph, and then this DJ who absolutely like blew up on TikTok, Disco Lines. I got to be direct support for him in Pittsburgh.
That's awesome.
So
Great networking.
yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to do what I can,
That's
just
awesome.
keep building myself up. But I'm super excited to do a lot of like traveling again.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait for when I can do it. Like when the opportunity comes, I'm just gonna jump on it to just like start traveling and just go wherever I can.
Yeah.
Is there someone that you haven't opened up for yet that you're like want to, that you're
yeah.
like, please, like I just want it?
If I could ever open up for Dylan Francis or open up for Skrillex, I feel like
Skrillex would be sick.
I'm wearing.
I love Skrillex.
If you open up for
shirt.
Skrillex,
Yeah.
then my cousin and I definitely need to be there because my cousin's obsessed with Skrillex, and obviously I'd be there for May.
I'm obsessed with Skrillex. So
Skrillex is dope.
yeah, wearing the Fortet Fred Again and Skrillex shirt from their Madison Square Garden show. That was a crazy show.
I bet.
Yeah.
When was it?
February this year. Yeah.
I was like, I can see, but like I can't see.
Yeah. It was wild, because it was like a first for EDM, basically, where it was the first time that like an EDM show was had sold out Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
That's sick.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it was wild. It literally
I'm
was
sure
just
it
like
was.
it didn't even feel like a concert. It literally, because they are like so hard on just like, we're just gonna do whatever the fuck we want. Like we're just gonna go out there. We have no plan whatsoever, and we're just gonna go and do it. It was just a 5-hour party.
Yeah.
You know, like there was no like format to it. Their stage was literally a platform in the middle of the floor of MSG.
That's
Wow.
So you're just like
And
looking
Sick.
down.
literally just a platform in the middle of the floor, and they just had their decks on the platform, and it was just the three of them just dancing around.
Yeah, yeah.
5 hours straight. Yeah, it was awesome.
oh my god.
And everybody was there for all 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were there, just embracing.
Everyone's
all
in
5.
it, yeah.
Yeah. That's dope. That's a dope experience.
Yeah, I love going to shows whenever I can. I did. I just went to Coachella in April, and then I just went to Ultra back in March, Ultra Miami. So those two were incredible.
Oh my god, how is Coachella?
Crazy. So it was my
As they say,
it was
yeah.
my second time going, but it was my first time doing weekend 2, or weekend 1 rather. First time I went, I did weekend 2. This time I did weekend 1, and so I got to see the infamous Frank Ocean set while I was there. That absolutely tanked.
Oh, I didn't hear.
Oh, you did it?
I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, it was like, wow.
I was like, I actually did hear about that.
That was so disappointing. But I mean, the rest of it was, it's so much fun being there, you know, because there's a whole, if you've never been, I highly suggest going at least once in your life if you can, just for the experience of it.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, oh, well, you know, like I did this and I didn't have fun doing it, like
You went.
you still went.
At least you can make that
It's
decision
still like
for
the
yourself.
biggest
Yeah.
festival in the United States,
Yeah.
and it's like you still were there. And I mean, just the variety is always so good. Where like you can find something, you know, at any time, like of all 3 days, where you're like, okay, well, my friends want to go to here, but like I really want to see this guy, or like, you know, you can get there at like 3 p.m. and be like, oh, this like super small artist who I know, he's playing over there, so like, and then you go over there and whatever. But yeah, I mean that was a crazy weekend, so much fun, and Ultra was probably even crazier. But just because with Ultra, I went with like 6 of my guy friends.
Makes
And we
sense.
all got like hotel suite. It
Oh my god,
Enough
you must have had a
Enough said.
blast.
it was a wreck of a weekend.
You
It
live
was.
such a fun life.
I try. I'm only 23, so I'm just trying to like live, you know, whatever I can. You know, I'm just trying to. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm 23. I have to start thinking about like saving up for my mortgage.
Right. No,
and,
have
like,
fun, honey.
So I'm just like, I'm just gonna enjoy my life, and then like once I start, you know, getting to like the end of my 20s, then I'm like, okay, now I have to start thinking about this stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'm young, single, like just living life, like just trying to do whatever I want to do before I can't do whatever I want to do
Right.
anymore.
Right. Makes sense,
Yeah.
man. Just do it while you can.
Exactly.
That's dope.
I'm a huge like advocate for like just go and like do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I
Same.
feel like a lot of people stop. They hesitate.
Exactly.
Hesitate. Even like myself. I'll speak for speak about myself too. Like sometimes you're just like, no, wait, like, oh, got to get ready for this, or you got to do this, and it's like, dude, you may not have tomorrow to do it. So
Exactly.
you might as well
Yeah.
just do it and
That's-
just get her done.
I'm like, because you're never gonna. You always have these what ifs about like when you look at something. You know, it's like, oh well, what if I try it and it doesn't go well? Okay, well then you still tried it.
And then
No,
you know
what
it
if you
doesn't work.
tried it and it was fantastic though?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. What if you had the time of your life failing
Right.
at it? Like I mean, sure you failed, but like you still had a good time doing it. And what if you don't fail? Like, what if you just skyrocket with it? I mean, that was a whole like struggle that I was having like internally for like, you know, years, where I was younger and I felt like I wasn't really gaining any traction, and I was like, why am I still doing this sometimes? Like, what if I
Yeah.
just, you know, maybe I should just like, you know, try college and like go the traditional route? And I was like, no, I'm just gonna just do whatever I want to do right now.
I wish I listened to that voice in myself when I was younger, and I wish I didn't waste a bunch of time
Yeah, I
doing
did.
so many things that I thought that I was supposed to do.
The voice almost won for me. I did one semester of community college, and then I was like, "No, this isn't happening."
But at least you tried it and you realized
right, exactly
that it wasn't for you. You're like, okay, at least I know.
Yeah,
no shot.
it's the age to be trying stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Makes sense.
Might as well go do it. I mean, there's no age to like not be trying stuff,
Yeah.
but like,
No,
I'm
I
at
feel that.
I'm especially at the age of like, you're gonna experience failure, so like, go seek out failure.
Yeah.
You know, until you seek out success.
Yeah.
Like, seek out failure until you find success, because like, obviously, then you're just gonna sort of live this sort of sheltered life of like, you know, you don't want to end up being like 50, 55 years old, being like, okay, well, what if I ended up doing that
Oh, hell
when I
no.
was 23?
Right.
Yeah,
I
right.
refuse
Like,
to be that.
Now you'll never know.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, you might as well go do it.
Exactly.
Right, because there are certain things that you're not going to be able to do at certain ages where it's just
100%. Yeah.
too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what worse feeling, just going like later on in life, like, oh, I should have gone here. I could have gone here. Why didn't I? You know what I mean?
Right,
Or
exactly.
done this, done that.
Yeah. I mean, already even at like an age like now, or like I'm 23, I'm like, why didn't I start this earlier? Like, already hitting like the what ifs of like, what if I started like when I was like 11? Because like, I know guys who started when they were 11, who started doing shows when they were 11.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
They're crazy.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kid is crazy. Shout out Richard. He's an animal.
You know what? Shout out, Richard. Good for you. That's incredible.
Yeah, that kid's an animal. He's been going strong for 10 years.
Isn't that crazy to be able to be like, yeah, I've been in the industry for 10 years. He's like 21.
Yep. Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Just turned 21 like a couple months ago. He's crazy. I love that
That's
guy.
dope.
But yeah.
Nice. Well, before we wrap up, how can people... Does anybody have any final questions? Anything before
Oh
I
yeah. I love
kind
questions.
of seal this up? Seal the deal?
Nothing really, nah.
Sealing the deal.
Yeah.
How can people connect with you? That's kind of the biggest thing is, people connecting with you, learning more about you. And
Yeah, so best way is following me on Instagram at Matt Young Boston, MATTYOUNG Boston. That's pretty much like my only social media I actually like really post on. But
keeps it simple.
So
keeps
people
it easy.
should not hold phones up in the crowd when you're DJing?
no,
Okay.
absolutely
They
not.
should,
Yeah. If you're thinking about it, don't do it.
they should not
I'm waiting
get
for
in
the
touch
day
with you
someone
that
does.
way.
Just walk in there and be like,
Oh my God.
grab that end real quick.
The day someone walks into a club I'm playing with like a giant cardboard cutout of my face, like a giant like fat head of my face, I'm just like giving them half my pay for the night.
Okay.
It's like the day you come in with like a
Yo,
giant
where you
cardboard
playing
cutout of my
next?
face.
Okay, honey. I know that's why I'm like,
You can find my schedule on my Instagram.
When's
at
your
Matt
next
Young
at
Boston.
Matt Young
There you go.
Boston?
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, okay, honey, just that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I always post my my monthly schedules in my story highlights on my Instagram profile. So
dope.
best way to find where I am and best way to like see me also.
I'm gonna like start sending Matt a bunch of just DMs, pictures of me just holding up my phone
phone
with
song.
just random pictures, random songs. Just
You're
like,
sending it at like
song this
11
week.
p.m. on a Saturday. By the way, you know I'm working. I'm like,
You're gonna get them from me as
you're
well.
gonna get the do not disturb.
You can D&D me, whatever.
And this
Jay
is why
under-
I turn my phone off.
J_Faith official has been blocked. What happened?
Get this man
You
out
can
of
no
here
longer
now.
message this user.
I thought we were friends. Oh, I thought he was gonna play Drake that tonight. Dang it! Oh man. Oh well.
He almost played Bad Bunny.
I was gonna say I'm
So
definitely
close.
sending you one that says Bad Bunny.
So close.
That's the worst offender. He's the worst offender by far.
That's funny though. Yeah. How do you not know that the biggest artists
Exactly.
are not gonna be played?
I don't understand it. But
Like, do you understand this is a nightclub? But anyways. Well, Matt, appreciate you
yeah,
coming down.
thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I had a
being
ton of
here.
fun.
Yeah.
Sharon, would love to have you back in the future.
Yeah.
Catch up and
Definitely.
continue the conversation. But until next time, my name is J_Faith,
This is life.
My name is Kayla.
My name's Matt.
and this is the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast. We'll catch y'all next time. What's up?